than his approach. In the meantime, though, his comments to the New Republic are getting a lot of attention, Chris. I mean, he was asked about how he's going to work with the Republicans going forward, whether it's on gun control or immigration or what have you. And this is what he told the New Republic. The interview was conducted in part by somebody who worked on his 2008 campaign and contributed to his campaign, so it was obviously a friendly interview. And this is what the president said. One of the biggest factors is going to be how the media shapes debates. If a Republican member of Congress is not punished on Fox News or by Rush Limbaugh for working with the Democrat on a bill of common interest, then you'll see more of them doing it. And you know, obviously the president, this isn't the first time he's taken a shot at Fox News. For me, this isn't about what he said about Fox News. It's about, once again, the president saying if somebody disagrees with him, if these Republicans disagree with him, it has to be because someone has manipulated them. Someone has somehow gotten to them. If Fox has gotten to them or Rush has gotten to them. And again, it sounds dismissive of heartfelt beliefs that Republicans may hold or their constituents may hold that just may not line up with his.
Yeah, Megyn, President Obama says it a lot of different ways. This interview is very instructive because he just is talking about it in this sort of media criticism, this sort of professorial media critic role where he talks about what's wrong with the process and what's wrong with the media from his point of view. But look, when he talked about why people would oppose restrictions, Second Amendment restrictions, he says, well, they want to sell more guns, or the cause of this is selling more guns. And he said in his inaugural, or not, he has said several times, said in his final press conference of his first term, that Republicans don't have some reservations. They don't feel comfortable with helping the old people or helping young people or doing these things. He imputes to his critics the worst possible motives and goes into this saying that, as he's talking to the New Republic, anybody who opposes him on these things is doing so because they're a coward, because they're being controlled by Rush Limbaugh, or because of what's being said by the purveyors of opinion on the Fox News channel. It's pretty remarkable, and it gives us some insight on why very little progress has been made on issues of substance since we had divided government in Washington. If the president thinks that these guys are that bad and that terrible, well, it's no wonder that he doesn't want to work with them, and it's no wonder that they don't trust him to do big things with.
I mean, the Fox News channel is the #1 cable it's the #1 channel on cable news. But as wide as our viewership is, the 300 million people in the country, and although I'm sure we'd love to speak to all of them, I'm sure Rush would love to speak to all of them, we don't. And you know, the president seems very convinced that anybody who disagrees with him must be subject to undue influence. And then he went on to speak to, this sounded like an attempt at balance. You tell me, because he went on to say, the same dynamic happens on the Democratic side. I think the difference is just that the more left-leaning media outlets recognize that compromise is not a dirty word. So his favorite outlets, they like compromise. And you can see he gets applauded regularly by the likes of Rachel Maddow when he compromises with the Republicans. She loves that. I mean, you know, it's just the worldview that the president has of the media. It does tell us something.
Well, it almost seems beyond parody, in a way, for a president giving an interview to a liberal magazine to somebody who used to work on his campaign and who is a donor, complaining about the conservative press, going the other way and talking to these people and saying the conservative press is doing it wrong. Even more revealing, though, is that the president thinks that the real problem isn't what Rush Limbaugh does or what Bill O'Reilly says or whatever happens. He thinks that the real problem is that the establishment press, the mainstream press, doesn't call out Republicans for being more terrible. He thinks that the problem is that when you get down to it, that the mainstream press is too friendly to Republicans. And I can tell you that members of Congress, Republican members of Congress, do not feel like they have been getting the kind of adulation that they've seen the president receiving in recent years.
Well, speaking